Boys, girls, babes, welcome back to another episode of the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Thrilled to have you all here with us today as we get ready to talk about this very good start to the season for our Washington Capitals. 5 wins and just 2 losses in their first 7 games of this 2025-2026 season. And all of the underlying numbers say that they are indeed playing very well, dominating possession, dominating scoring chances, all of that. And so we will get into all of that. But first, babes, I just wanted to give a massive shout out to all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. The podcast has been growing so much already this season, just a couple of episodes into this new season, and we are really seeing tremendous growth. Huge numbers on the first 2 episodes, and that obviously does not happen without all of you fine folks being so engaged, caring so much about this team, and doing your part to spread the word about the show, sharing us with all of your Caps fan friends, family members, co-workers, whoever it may be. I know that you guys must be sharing us around because the growth that we are seeing in our numbers does not happen without that. And so I just wanted to give a quick shout out really at the top of the episode here and just say thank you, babes, all of you so much, like I said, for your amazing support of this podcast, for your amazing support of the YouTube channel, and for your amazing support of me as well. I really appreciate all of you beauties so much. We're having a ton of fun here talking about our Washington Capitals, and we will of course continue to do so throughout the season. And I cannot wait to have all of you along here with me on this journey, on this ride, 82 games and hopefully more into the Stanley Cup playoffs in April and beyond. So yeah, babes, I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of you a ton. Thank you so much for being here. I know I say that all the time, but I really do mean it. And so I never want to forget, just showing my appreciation for all of you guys because it is really so important to me. And yeah, I just appreciate all of you guys so much. Like I said, not only for tuning in, listening to the show religiously for some of you, which I appreciate that so much, but also, like I said, just for your amazing support, sharing us around, getting the word out there, bringing, new Caps fans in, making them aware of the show. It really means the world to me, and it's really helping us to grow. So just wanted to get that in there off the top of the episode, just let you guys know that I love you. And yeah, I mean, for today's episode, we've got a lot to talk about. The Caps, like I said, off to a very good start here to this new season. So let's get into it, babes. So at the time of our last episode, the Caps were 2-1. They were just coming off back-to-back wins in New York after dropping their season opener against the Boston Bruins. And since then, the Caps won 3 out of 4 on a 4-game homestand, scoring wins against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Minnesota Wild, and the Seattle Kraken most recently. With the only blemish of the homestand, unfortunately for me, being a matinee game against my hometown, Vancouver Canucks. So that's always a tough one for me when we lose to them because lots and lots of chirping flies my way from all of the Canucks fans around here. But yeah, that was really the only blemish of the homestand was that matinee game, like I said, against the Vancouver Canucks, and that resulted in a 4-3 loss for the Caps. And if you know your Washington Capitals, like if you've been a fan of this team for a long time like I have, then right? That we usually don't even count those losses that happen during those matinee games because it's kind of just universally accepted as a Capitals fan that the Caps are always hot garbage during matinee games for some reason. That is just the way that it is. And so, yeah, I mean, they got down 4-0 early in that game to the Vancouver Canucks before storming back and almost tying it. But, with the start that they had in that game, they probably did deserve to lose that one if we're being honest with ourselves. And so here we are, we've moved on from it. And the Caps bounced back big against the Seattle Kraken in their very next game. So that was nice to see. So yeah, the game against the Kraken, like another dominating performance and another dominating win by this Washington Capitals team. So that bounce back is so huge, right? Like the Caps record after a loss since they hired Spencer Carberry is unbelievable. Like they do not lose 2 in a row very often at all. He, as a head coach, does a really phenomenal job of always having them ready for that next game and making sure that, losing one game doesn't turn into losing 2, losing 3, losing 4. So, their record of bouncing back under Spencer Carberry is really, really good. As far as the game against the Kraken here, like I said, another dominating performance, another dominating win. And I'm saying another one because that is sort of becoming a trend here early in this season for the Caps, is that they're not just winning games, but they're doing so in dominating fashion more times than not. Really exerting themselves over their opponents and, like I said, dominating puck possession, dominating scoring chances, and dominating on the scoreboard. They're heavily outshooting teams. They're scoring plenty of goals now after a bit of an unlucky start to the season in that department. Over those first few games, the pucks are finding the back of the net now, and so they should be with the amount of grade A scoring chances that the Caps are generating. So the tide has turned there for sure. Like I said, kind of an unlucky first few games of the season. Certainly that game against the Boston Bruins, and then even in the win against the New York Rangers, they only got the one goal. It was the 1-0 shutout against the Rangers. But the goals, they're starting to find the back of the net now as that tide starts to turn. Like I said, with all of those grade A scoring chances that the Caps are generating, it was really only a matter of time before some of them started finding the back of the net, and that's what we're seeing now. So overall, it's been a pretty damn encouraging start to the season for the Washington Capitals. I know I am personally liking a lot of what I am seeing from them, and so we will talk about all of this today, and we will also talk about which players specifically are having the best starts to their seasons for the Caps, because I think that there have been many guys who are playing extremely well, and they are seeing some rewards for it, some payoff for it in the form of the stats on the score sheet. And then there are also some guys who I think we are going to see more production is coming for them down the line here this season. Maybe not seeing the results on the score sheet yet, but for a lot of guys, I think that that's going to come for sure with the way that they're starting to play here. So we'll talk about all of this. Overall, like I said, just a very, very encouraging start to the season for the Washington Capitals. And I mentioned how dominant they've been so far this season. And here is the big statistic that I wanted to share with you guys today that kind of sums up that dominance perfectly. That statistic being that so far this season, the Washington Capitals are number 1 in the entire National Hockey League in expected goals for percentage, with over 60% of the goals scored in games that the Washington Capitals are playing in expected to be scored by the Washington Capitals, not by their opponents. And so for those who maybe don't, fully understand the analytics side of things just yet, let me just tell you, to kind of simplify it for everybody, that is a really, really big number to have for this particular statistic, to be over 60%. And that's why the Caps are number 1 in the league in this stat, which has historically been very indicative of overall success in the regular season and in the playoffs, by the way. The more that you possess the puck, the more scoring chances that you generate, and the better the quality of those scoring chances, all of those things combine with how few scoring chances you give up to your opponents, right? And, the lack of quality scoring chances that you give your opponents. All of these things combine in order to give a quantifiable statistic such as expected goals for percentage, which can also be called expected goal share. This gives a pretty accurate representation of how dominant a team is at even strength, and specifically at 5-on-5. And like mentioned, it does tend to be a pretty damn good predictor of both regular season and playoff success, especially playoff success, actually, when you look at historically for these analytical stats. Because the thing is that it separates the teams that are more like paper tigers, if you will. The teams that are lucky more than they're actually good. And it tells you, or at least gives you a pretty darn good idea of who the actual Tigers are, who the actual good teams are. And the Caps, when you look at the stats, definitely fall into that actual good team category. Like I said, they're first in the entire league, even ahead of teams like the Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche, who are both off to terrific starts as well, and who no one would argue are not very good teams in this league with a chance of winning the Stanley Cup this season. Expected goals for percentage, the Carolina Hurricanes are number 2 in the NHL, and the Colorado Avalanche are number 3 in the NHL, behind only our own Washington Capitals. The Caps are also the only team in the National Hockey League currently whose expected goals for percentage is above 60%. So it's not a be-all end-all stat, right? There are no be-all end-all stats in hockey other than what's on the scoreboard, of course. You still have to score on the chances that you generate. You still have to have all of the intangibles, right? You still have to get great goaltending at the right times. But I think we can all agree, right, that the Caps they're like pretty well set up in all of those areas. They have great leadership. They have great intangibles. They have really, really good goaltending. I mean, hell, like Logan Thompson led all NHL goaltenders in save percentage in the playoffs last season. He led all goaltenders in the NHL in goals saved above expected in the playoffs last season. This was his first season as a Washington Capital. So he kind of showed up here, and he's been amazing ever since, right? Not that he wasn't amazing with the Vegas Golden Knights as well. He actually was, which is why it doesn't make a ton of sense why they traded him for 2 third-round picks. But yeah, he's been great, like ever since he got here, all of last season, and all through the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I really think, point being, this all ties back to I really think that the Caps have currently in their cupboard all of the tools here right now that you would want to see in your hockey club. And so I think that, we are fully within our rights right now as fans to be excited, right? Like they look really, really good this season. And it is okay for you or for me as a fan to be excited by that. So it's early, yes, but we are starting to see some trends for sure. And I mean, the Caps' next game is going to be their 8th game of the season, which if you look at it, 82-game regular season, that is about 10% of the way through the regular season already. So we definitely are starting to see some trends begin to develop here that we can start to look at, right? And so with the Caps having success so far this season, both process-wise and results-wise, which we love to see that, of course, scoreboard, right? Let's take a look at who we think is really driving this success so far, and at who we think still has room for improvement as well, right? Because, like I said, there are a lot of guys who are playing really well right now and who are getting the numbers, the stats on the score sheet to go along with that good play. And then there are other guys who are playing really well and it's not showing up on the score sheet just yet, as much as they would probably like to see. And then there's maybe even a couple guys who could probably pick up their socks a little bit as well. So let me just pull it up here. I'm just going to grab a drink of my tea as well. You guys know the routine by now. Like it's sleepy time tea. I've got the Caps cup here. You got to let me take a sip of it. No co-host here, right? So just me, always just me, baby. So yeah, let's run through the Caps. We won't do the whole roster, but we'll do quite a few players here. Easy one here. Let's start with the current points leader for the Washington Capitals, Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson, baby. 10 points right now in just 7 games played for the Washington Capitals so far this season. Of those 10 points, 4 of them are goals. He has 4 goals already. 6 assists. He's a +2. And yeah, what can you say about this guy? He's the quintessential, ultimate power forward that absolutely every team in the National Hockey League desperately wants, right? The problem for 31 of those teams is that there's only one of them. The great thing for us is that we have the one of him. And he's signed like forever. He's going to be a Washington Capital forever. So future captain most likely when Alex Ovechkin retires. So this guy picking up right where he left off last season, where he set career highs across the board, right? Career high in goals last season, 30 plus goals for the big power forward. And yeah, he's if it's possible, I think he's only looking even better so far this season, even than he did last season. And he had such an amazing season last season, but he seems to, like I said, just be picking up right where he left off, if not getting even better. So Team Canada, anyone? I mean, like, all red as per usual. Capital stuff. Actually, I've got the, don't know if you guys can see that there. If you're listening in audio only, I'm sorry. You can also find us on the YouTube channel if you want to catch the video. Otherwise, it's probably not making a lot of sense what I'm saying right now, but I'm just trying to show off my hoodie here. I've got that, I don't know if you guys can even see it. I've got the it's the Great 895 hoodie from the NHL shop for when he broke the record. So I've got it in red. It's a fantastic hoodie. Love all of that merch that I got. And I know that so many of you got as well after he broke that record. So yeah. Anyways, point was red hoodie, right? Always wear red, wearing Capitals colors, but Capitals colors, red, also happens to be Team Canada colors, and this is where it ties back to Tom Wilson. Me being a Canadian, I 1,000%, 1,000,000% want this guy on Team Canada. I think it is absolutely inexcusable at this point if he is not on Team Canada. I will not understand what the fuck they are doing out there at Team Canada if they do not pick him for this team. I think it was just abundantly clear at the Four Nations that you should want this guy on your team to deal with the Tkachuk brothers in particular. None of what the Tkachuk brothers did at the Four Nations, with the fights off the face-off and all of that. Like, all of us Caps fans know none of that is happening if Tom Wilson is in a Team Canada jersey. So really want to see him on Team Canada. Like I said, absolutely inexcusable if he is not. Dylan Strome. Off to another great season. Off to another great start to the season, rather. 9 points already through the Caps' first 7 games. 2 goals, 7 assists, plus 4. He actually, he had a really slow start points-wise by his standards, but then over the last several games, he has really, really picked it up. Multiple points in several of those most recent games. So he has definitely found his groove here and has got going for the Caps. So that is great to see. And yeah, that's right around where you want him, right? Like, he's over a point per game. That's exactly what you want. So a great start to the season for him. Aliaksei Protas. Man, like, talk about Tom Wilson being I called him the quintessential, prototypical power forward who everyone wants. Aliaksei Protas is another one of those. I saw a tweet the other day, which I thought was great. It was just from like one of those main, NHL accounts. And basically the premise of the tweet was that it's very possible right now that the Caps actually have not just the best one, but the best 2 power forwards in the entire National Hockey League in Tom Wilson and Aliaksei Protas. And I think that's actually pretty accurate. For Aliaksei Protas, like, he's got 8 points already in the first 7 games played. 4 of those are goals already. He's got 4 goals in 7 games. So 4 goals, 4 assists. He's plus 5. And yeah, he's just such a good player in all 3 zones. I really can't talk enough about this guy. 24 years old, so young still, so much room to improve still, which is like fucking scary if you're the rest of the league, because he's already so good. But yeah, he just does everything well. It's not just the offense, right? It's defensively, he's so great. That long reach, that long stick, 6'6". He's great, like, along the walls, along the boards, holding on to pucks. You cannot get the puck off of him for the life of you, like whether it's in the defensive zone or in the offensive zone. And yeah, he breaks up so many plays, like I said, with his long reach. He's so great defensively, so great through the neutral zone, and then obviously offensively as well. Just like I said, the prototypical power forward that teams would just kill to have. The Caps obviously have another one of him, kind of a clone of him, coming in his younger brother, Aliaksei Protas, the 19-year-old who is just starting out his professional career with the Hershey Bears this season. So yeah, pretty scary for the rest of the league to think that the Caps are soon going to have two of these guys to go along with as well, like I said, a Tom Wilson. So pretty nuts to think about, pretty scary. Like I said, if you're one of those other 31 teams. Let's see here. We'll stick with the forwards for now. So, Alex Ovechkin. Okay. This is a tricky one for me. I'm just going to grab another sip of my tea here. You can tell that we're not professional here, hey? It's a fan-run show, folks. But yeah, this is a tricky one with Alex Ovechkin because the goal totals that we're used to seeing obviously aren't there yet this season. But, I do think, and the numbers back me up, by the way, that he is, in fact, creating a ton of offensive pressure and scoring chances for his teammates. So, he's creating a lot for other people out there. Like I said, for his line mates, for his teammates. I do wish that he would start shooting a little bit more, which is such a funny thing to find myself saying about Alexander literal Ovechkin, the greatest goal scorer of all time and the greatest shooter of all time. But I mean, yeah, like he seems to have his passing stick out early in this season, right? Like he's making a ton of great passes and setting his teammates up a lot for great looks, for great chances at goals. And we as Caps fans know, right, that like this guy, he has always been such an underrated passer in this league. Like he is a phenomenal passer, and he does not get any credit for it because of his goal scoring ability overshadowing everything else, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's going to happen when you have like 898 career goals, obviously. But yeah, I mean, like he is such a great passer. Would love to see him get some more credit for that someday. Although we're running out of time here at 40 years old. And so, yeah, I mean, like he's got 4 assists already this season through just 7 games. That would be like a 50 assist pace over an 82 game season as, like I said, a 40-year-old. So yeah, I mean, what can you say, right? Like I'm honestly not going to gripe too much about the lack of goals for him personally right now. The important thing is that the team is winning, right? And the team looks great. And he is, as always, a big part of that. And he is helping his team win games in other ways right now. So it's not all about the goals. It has never been all about the goals for Alex Ovechkin. Anyone who knows him knows that he wants to win. And I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but he's a +5 already through just 7 games as well. So like that's top 20 in the entire NHL right now in plus minus. So he is definitely doing the right things out there and helping his team win games. Like I said, the goals just aren't hitting the back of the net for him personally yet. I say yet because, we've seen this, like we've done this song and dance so many times. That eventually they are going to start going in for him. There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind about that. So the shot hasn't gone anywhere. Like we've seen the times that he has let it rip this season, still got an absolute cannon that has not gone away even at 40 years old. I just want to see him, eventually start shooting a little bit more, I guess is all I'm trying to say. Love the passing stick. Love that he's setting up teammates. Love that he seems to be trying to get goals for the young guys on the team specifically, setting up a lot of the younger players for tap-ins and things like that. So love to see that. But yeah, I do want to see him eventually start shooting a little bit again. But I mean, like, how much can we complain when they're winning, right? That's kind of my point here as well. So even though the pucks aren't hitting the back of the net for him personally yet, I'm personally not worried about it, I guess is what I'm getting at. And yeah, with the team being 5-2-0, there's not a lot of not a lot of worries in general, to be honest with you right now. So, and yeah, I mean, I would probably be, I'll say this, like I would probably be a lot probably, more freaked out about this right now. If this were his goal scoring start for him, last season, right? Like when he did not have the all-time goals record yet. But like now, here we are, like he's already got that out of the way now, right? Like he already, with a 44 goal season last season, he already got that out of the way. He already took care of that. So we can all just kind of relax now. Everything as far as goal scoring for him now is just gravy on top at this point, right? Like he's already the NHL's all-time goals leader. Every goal that he scores now is literally just adding more and more and more on top of that, on top of his own record, right? So it is all gravy at this point, baby. So yeah, nothing really to worry about as far as I can see with Alex Ovechkin. Continuing on with forwards here. Let's see, who do I want to grab next? I want to grab some tea next. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like I did a post-game reaction video today as well, so I'm really, really struggling, really losing my voice, but we'll get through it. Yep, we will. This is an obvious one. Ryan Leonard. We have got to talk Ryan Leonard. Man, if you listen to my, I believe it was my season preview episode. If you listen to my season preview episode, one of the things that I said was that Ryan Leonard could be a real, a real steal, a real dark horse candidate to bet on for the Calder Trophy. One of the reasons why I thought that was that I thought that he was this season going to break out offensively. I watched the whole preseason, watched every game of the preseason, and watched every game that he played in the preseason, watched every shift that he played in the preseason. And to me, he just looked like, I don't want to say a completely different player than he did like when he played those few games for the Caps at the end of last season, after signing his entry-level contract, because he's not a completely different player. It's just like he was right away from the minute that he got here. He was like, he's been the whole time so good at all of the little things in the game, right? So good at all of the details. He's good defensively. Like he pays attention. He's on top of things. He's a really, really, really mature player for being just 20 years old. But from watching the preseason, like I said, I could see that his confidence offensively was definitely starting to take off. He saw a few pucks hit the back of the net in the preseason, and it was like that just gave him the juice. Like he was like, all right, I can do this at the NHL level, right? He was a big goal scorer, obviously, at Boston College, back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons. He's the only guy to do that in Division I in the NCAA in a long time, like since Cam freaking Atkinson way back in the day. So that's a rarity. Like having the double, back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons in the NCAA Div 1, that's rare. So obviously he has the scoring touch. He has the goal-scoring touch. He has a wicked shot, for sure. And you've been able to see that the whole time. But now that, like I said, he has that offensive confidence. Like he's seen a few pucks hit the back of the net in the preseason, and he's just carried that right into the regular season. And he's so confident now with the puck on his stick. And now he's using his shot. He's letting it fly, right? He's not being, I don't want to say passive, because I don't think he was necessarily passive. I just think that when a young player like that comes into the league so early and so young, it's natural that the first, however many games that they play in the league, that they're going to kind of look to defer more to other people, to more veteran players who may be on their line or what have you, right? And so I think he was deferring a lot when he played those few games at the end of last season. Young players are always like, they don't want to make a mistake, kind of, right? Like they don't want to take anything away from themselves defensively and screw up somewhere there. So they kind of don't push as much on offense a lot of the time because they're not wanting to make a mistake defensively. So I think we saw some of that with him when he played those few games for the Caps at the end of last season and in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He wasn't wanting to make a mistake and hurt the team. Whereas now I think he's just got, like I said, a lot more confidence. Like he's starting to really see, like I said, you know what? Like I can do this at the NHL level and I can be a really, really, really fucking good player at this level. And he's showing that right now. I do think that this guy is going to be not just good, not just very good. I think this kid is a star in the making. I think his release on his shot is like beyond wicked. Like this is a shot that, whose shot it actually reminds me of, which is going to sound funny. Alexander Semin. That's whose shot, honestly, it reminds me of. Like his release is just so wicked. He just whips it off his stick so fast and he disguises it so well that you don't really know where it's going, right? Like the goaltenders don't really seem to know where it's going. He scored obviously he scored in the last couple of games actually back to back against first the Vancouver Canucks and then the Seattle Kraken. But even like in that game against the Kraken, he scores this goal and it's a beautiful goal. Absolute howitzer of a wrist shot, just like catch and release, slings it right past the netminder. But he also had a look earlier in the game, I believe it was in the first period. He had a look in the game before he had even scored that goal, where it was an even better shot, honestly. Like he disguised it so well, just absolutely ripped it. And unfortunately it went crossbar and out. So that one didn't count as a goal for him. But just an unbelievable shot. Like I saw the NHL's main Instagram page had even posted video of this crossbar shot by him that didn't even result in a goal at the end of the day. But they posted video of it just because the release was so wicked that they were like, look at this, you got to see this. Yeah, I mean, he's got an unbelievable shot. Like I said, so many of the details in his game are so good already for being such a young player, such a mature player. He's probably, I've said this before, but he's probably the most mature 20-year-old player that I can remember seeing in a long, long time. Like I said, he's good defensively. He's good in the neutral zone. He does all of the little things really, really well. And now that he's adding that offensive flair to his game, getting really confident with the puck, and they're starting to go in for him, he's going to be a really, really scary player for the rest of the league to try to deal with. We know like what the kind of calling cards were with him when we drafted him. He's known as being an absolute pain in the ass to the opposition, and you can certainly see that already. You could see that when he joined the team at the end of last season as well. You could see it in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He was like up in Arbor Jackie's face, like laughing right in his face after the Caps had scored a goal against the Montreal Canadiens in that first round. And yeah, like so far this season, like he's drawing a ton of penalties already. He's just like, he's all over the ice. He's in everyone's face. He seems to just really piss everyone off on the opposition, which is a quality that I really, really, really like for a player on my team. So I love this kid. I think he's, like I said, going to be a star eventually. And I think we're starting to see the beginning points of that now as he gets more and more confident on the offensive side. So yeah, 3 goals already for Ryan Leonard in the Caps' first 7 games of the season. He's a +3 as well. So that's really great to see. Like I said, so mature for a 20-year-old, right? Responsible defensively, all of that. So yeah, a great start to the season for him. I cannot wait to see the type of numbers that he can put up when the coaching staff eventually starts giving him more ice time. He's already got 3 goals in 7 games, and he's doing that with very limited ice time so far. So be great to see what he can do with a little bit more time on ice. So let's see here. Who do I want to do next? Like I said, we're not going to go through everyone here. An interesting one for me so far is Connor McMichael on the forward side. Let's grab another sip here. It's funny, the sleepy time tea does not make me sleepy, like, at all. I don't know if that's just because I'm doing a podcast, but if you haven't tried the Sleepy Time tea, I recommend it for the taste. It's nice. But yeah, I don't know that it actually puts you to sleep. I'm not sure. It could just be me though. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. But yeah, Connor McMichael, an interesting one for me because I think he's playing actually very well. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't have much to show for it yet in terms of on the score sheet. Like we're through 7 games here now. He doesn't have a goal yet, and he just has the 1 assist. So those are very un-Connor McMichael-like numbers so far, stats-wise. But yeah, he's an interesting kind of case study because I do think he's playing really well, like I said. I think he looks fast as hell out there, just like he did last season. I think he's creating a ton. I think he's, doing everything right on all sides of the puck through all 3 zones. So I think for him, like he's playing really well and he's generating a lot of chances offensively. So I think it'll only be a matter of time for him before the puck starts finding the back of the net again, as we saw last season. So not much to worry about for me with Connor McMichael. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we could go here. Like we could talk about kind of the lineup combinations and all of that, but that's kind of a bit much to get into. We're already at 37 minutes here. For me, the 4th line so far could be better. For me on that 4th line, like I've liked parts of their games. I've liked certain players on that line in spurts, but not all the time. Like I think Brandon Duhaime is playing really well. He got his first point the other night there against the Seattle Kraken. A nice assist, some nice work along the wall in the offensive zone. Got a puck out, fed it to John Carlson. Nice pass. Carlson down low to Nick Dowd, giving Dowd pretty much an empty net to shoot at. Beautiful pass by John Carlson. But yeah, I've liked Brandon Duhaime's game. I love the energy that he brings. I could say the same for Justin Sourdif. Like I love the energy that he's bringing. He's super fast. Like he works really hard. You can see that he works really hard. He's all over the ice. He brings a lot of energy. I guess because we're not totally familiar with this guy yet and we don't have enough of a sample size with him yet, I'm just hoping that at some point there's going to be, I don't know, more of something offensively. I just want to see him add a little bit of that to his game here. So, and Nick Dowd for me has been interesting so far to start this season because obviously, like I've long been saying, like he's the best 4th line center in the league, hands down. Like it's not even close. For me, his start to this season has not been very Nick Dowd like. Like I don't know. It's hard to say, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I know like he had, things going on coming into the season. Like he missed almost all of training camp, because he had a parent, his dad passed away after a long illness. So that's really, really tough. I know that's really, really tough. I've been through that, unfortunately, with my parents, my mom and my stepdad. So it's really, really tough, and it takes a lot out of you. And he did miss almost the entire training camp. So I don't want to be hard on him at all, I guess is what I'm saying. But for me, it's just something I've noticed is he doesn't really look like himself out there right now. Not just yet anyway. So hoping the best for Nick Dowd. Hoping that, everything off the ice is okay. And hopefully that he can start being nicked out again on the ice for us as well. Obviously though, the off the ice stuff is the most important. So you just hope and wish, for him that he's okay and that everything's okay off the ice. But yeah, for me, that 4th line as a whole, has kind of been lacking a little bit so far this season. Again, we're just 7 games in, and Dowd and Duhaime played together all of last season, but they do have a new winger on that line now, so it could take some time to gel. But hoping that it will, because I do think that has been a strength of the team in the last few seasons, has been their fourth line. And so I really want to see them get back to that, where they are a strength for this team, because I think that that'll be really, really important as we get deeper into the season and hopefully into the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. So, other than that, forward-wise, I mean, Sonny Milano's been a healthy scratch for pretty much half of the games. When he's been in the lineup, he hasn't gotten on the score sheet yet. There seems to be a bit of a trust issue there with Spencer Carberry with him, because he had such a great preseason. Obviously putting up a ton of points in the preseason. I believe it was like he and Hendrix Lapierre that led the NHL in points in the preseason. So Sonny Milano, to me, he looked awesome in the preseason, which really, I know, gave a lot of us high hopes for him coming into this season. Then he was healthy scratched in the first game of the season, which I thought was a bit curious, but I've kind of learned, I guess, or not even learned, because I never really did question him even from the beginning, but I don't really question Spencer Carberry, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because he just seems to always push all of the right buttons with every single guy. So, I really don't question Spencer Carberry too much, but to me, that was a little bit curious with the preseason that Sonny Milano had, for him to be healthy scratched early. But yeah, I mean, then he's gotten into a few games and he hasn't gotten on the score sheet yet. So we'll see, what the future holds for him here. Hendrix Lapierre is certainly an interesting one. For him, for a young player, like, it's tough. Like, they started him out at center, right? And now they've moved him to the wing. To me, he's looked really good on the wing. Like, I think that might be a legit option going forward. He got his first point of the season the other night, a beautiful cross crease pass to set up, I believe it was Jakob Chychrun, for what was essentially a tap in. So that was a beautiful assist by him. He as well was healthy scratch for a game. Hendrix Lapierre was, so he's only played 6. Just the one assist so far. He is +1. To me, he looked pretty good on the wing. So that might be an option for them going forward if they want to have Connor McMichael at center and Hendrix Lapierre on the wing instead. So we'll see what all of that holds. But yeah, I mean, as far as forwards go, that's pretty much all that's been interesting so far. On defense, Jakob Chychrun. Wow, what a start by this guy. But I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, we've just kind of come to expect this from him. This is what he is. He is a phenomenal fucking hockey player. He is a phenomenal defenseman. Brings so much offense from the back end. He's crushing people out there. He has a ton of hits already. He's playing really, really, really good defense. I believe, I'm just checking here just now, I believe he leads the team in plus-minus currently. I'm just going to confirm. And yeah, he does. He leads the team in plus-minus. He is a +7 already through 7 games. And yeah, he has 6 points already, as obviously, like I said, a defenseman. 6 points in 7 games played by the Caps so far this season. So that is great. And 3 of those 6 points are goals already for him. So he's scoring at like almost a 40-goal pace as a defenseman. So, we'll see if he can keep that up. That would be insane. Those are like Mike Green numbers, back in Mike Green's heyday, back in his prime. But yeah, I mean, he had 20 goals last season as a defenseman. 20 goals as a defenseman in today's NHL is pretty crazy. So, that was a phenomenal season by him. Earned him obviously a contract extension with the Caps, 8-year contract extension. So happy to have him here, for the next 8 seasons. And yeah, I mean, this guy, he's one of the biggest reasons to me that this team is what it is now compared to what they were a couple of seasons ago when they did not have Jakob Chychrun. Like, he just has added an element to their back end that they didn't have before behind John Carlson. And John Carlson, he can't do it all on his own offensively, right? So Jakob Chychrun gives them another guy that just brings so much oomph from the back end, so much offense. And it's that's really the word for it. Oomph. Like it's not just offense. It's not just like passive kind of offense. Like he brings a lot of oomph. Like he's got a big booming shot. He's got a cannon, great wrist shot, great slap shot, great one-timer. He's a great passer. Like he's a phenomenal skater. He gets up and down the ice so quickly, jumping up into the play, helping to create that offense. So that's kind of how we've seen his goals go in so far this season, is he's really jumping up into the play, getting down low and hammering home goals, right? So he's all over the ice. And you never worry about him jumping up in the play because he gets back so quickly. Such a great skater, right? As so many of these Caps defensemen are. Phenomenal start to the season for Jakob Chychrun, by Jakob Chychrun. 6 points, like I said, through 7 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, plus 7. Well, obviously, we'll talk John Carlson as well. Just grab one more sip here. Wanted to do a bit of a longer episode today, just because there's so many things to talk about, so many games been played since the last one. So John Carlson, just want to talk about him quickly. He, to me, he had what I will call a really tough Stanley Cup playoffs last season, specifically against the Carolina Hurricanes. It was a little bit rough for Johnny against the Carolina Hurricanes. He did not have his regular, usual defensive partner in Martin Ferravari for the playoffs, as Ferravari, obviously, he blew out his knee right before the playoffs were set to begin. So we didn't have Ferravari. Carlson did not have Ferravari, and that really hurt him for sure. But yeah, he had a really rough Stanley Cup playoffs. So to see him now come into this season, and he's a little bit older than he was last season, and yet I've got to be honest with you, he is fucking flying out there, man. Like, he looks just way faster than he did last season. So kudos to him. Like, he must have put in a lot of work over the offseason, skating wise, and I don't know, if he was working maybe with the Caps skating coach, Wendy Marco. I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like he put a lot of work in over the summer, because he just, to me, eyeball test, right? He looks way faster than he did last season. And certainly, now it's the start of the season. We're comparing that maybe to the Stanley Cup playoffs, which was at the end of a long season. So maybe there's something to that as well. But I don't remember him at any point last season, even at the beginning of last season, looking as fast and fleet of foot as he does now. So that's a really great sign. Like, he's getting up and down the ice really, really well, jumping up into the play, much like Jakob Chychrun. And yeah, he's got 5 points already through 7 games. He's a +1. He's just, he's been creating a lot offensively, but then not giving up anything defensively as well. I saw a stat the other day. Analytically, he's a top 10 defensive defenseman in the National Hockey League right now across the whole NHL. John Carlson is a top 10 defensive defenseman right now so far this season, at age 35 or whatever he is now. So that is great to see, and I hope to God that it keeps up, because that would be amazing for us. Martin Ferravari, back from knee surgery, looks fantastic, honestly. He looks no worse for wear. He is skating so well. It's shocking, honestly. Me being someone who, like, most of you guys know, I'm a goalie, right? And I have had a serious knee injury before, and they are not easy nor fun to try to come back from. My knee is still not right. Even, like, this happened, like, in my senior year of high school, and it's still not the same today. So, and that's with a ton of work put into trying to get it right again. So it's usable, but it's not perfect. So to see Martin Ferravari coming back the way that he has from this knee, first of all, he's back way before they said he would be. So that's the first point. But secondly, like I said, just the way that he's skating, like, he looks just as he always did. Like, he's always been such a phenomenal skater. People compare him to like Scott Niedermayer, how Niedermayer used to skate. And I think that's pretty accurate. It's a pretty accurate comparison, just in terms of like their skating stride and things like that. But yeah, he looks no worse for wear. He looks just as he did before the knee injury. So that is a major credit to him, and the work that he has obviously done to get himself back to being healthy. He himself says he feels like he's probably at about 80% right now, and working his way back, feeling better and better and better every day. But man, his 80% is really, really, really good. So it's great to see him back. It helps the Caps so much when he is in the lineup. He is just a phenomenal player, a phenomenal defenseman. And yeah, he's upped his offense a bit. Like, he's got 4 points already through 7 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists. He's +1. And yeah, just overall looks really, really good out there. So great to see for Fehérváry. Really hoping that he can stay healthy. We need him back there, man. We saw how much they missed him in the Stanley Cup playoffs last season. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the decor, Rasmus Sandin obviously is a regular. Matt Roy obviously is a regular. And then Trevor Van Riemsdyk and Declan Chisholm have kind of been not splitting games. Like, TVR has played 5, Chisholm has played just 2. But yeah, they've healthy scratched TVR a couple of times to give Chisholm some games, which I think is good. You want him to get into some games just in case there is an injury. And yeah, he's acquitted himself well. He's played very well. So Chisholm, he's played only 2 games. Like I said, he's already got an assist. He's already got his first point as a Washington Capital. That's out of the way. And he's +2 in 2 games. So like, what more do you want from your 7th defenseman, right? TVR as well, played 5 games +2. So again, what more do you want from your number 6 defenseman, right? So Caps decor, looking pretty good. And then on the on the goaltending side, that'll be the last thing. Oh boy, I can't talk enough about Logan Thompson. I love this guy. I have not felt this, safe and secure, whatever you want to call it, just like, safe. He just makes us feel safe. Like you're just wrapped in your favorite security blanket from when you were a kid. I never feel, honestly, like I never feel like we are getting scored on when he is in our net. And I know that that's a crazy thing to say, because obviously we do sometimes get scored on when he is in our net, but not very much. Not very much. He has played 5 games so far. He's played 5 of the Caps' 7 games so far this season. And in 5 games, he has given up a grand total of only 8 goals. 8 goals in 5 games. His goals against average is 1.60. That is phenomenal. His save percentage is .927. That is phenomenal. Out of 5 games, he's won 4 of them. That is phenomenal. That is exactly what we saw from him last season when he won 31 games and lost only 6. This guy's a star. Like, I don't know how else to put it. He keeps being underrated around the league. People don't seem to want to talk about him or take him seriously. He has noticed that as well. He has spoken on that in some of his interviews that I've seen, how he kind of actually likes that. Like, he likes being underrated or underappreciated, not within the Capitals room, but around the league. Certainly everybody in the Capitals room appreciates him. They all know how good he is and how important he is to this team's success. But yeah, he just says that, like, when, kind of the mainstream media or, fans around the league, people who don't watch the Caps all the time, when those people kind of underrate him, it just motivates him even further. And yeah, he's off to a great start this season. He's one of those guys that just seems to be picking up right where he left off last season, and he was fantastic last season. So that is phenomenal news. If you are a Washington Capitals fan, that he is picking up right where he left off. You would love for him to have a season exactly as he had last season. That would be great. So he's looking fantastic, like I said. And Charlie Lindgren as well, played only 2 games, won 1 of them, lost 1 of them. The win that he got was a shutout over the New York Rangers, of course. So that was a big divisional win. That was the first game that Chucky played this season. So that was a great start by him. Goals against average 2.04, save percentage 9.32. He has seen 59 shots against in 2 games. He has saved 55 of them. So yeah, I mean, what can you say? Like, we are, I say it all the time, but we are extremely blessed as Capitals fans. Like, seriously, if you look around the league right now, teams would kill to be in the position that the Caps are in goaltending wise. They somehow snuck frickin' Clay Stevenson through waivers as well. I have no idea how they did that, but they did it. So they are very, very deep at the position. And, you know, the 2 guys that they have with the big club in the National Hockey League obviously are like, they're one of the best tandems in the entire league, with Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren. One of the best starters in the league in Logan Thompson, and certainly one of the best backups in the league in Charlie Lindgren as well. He would be a starter on some teams. So it's kind of more of a 1 and 1A situation more than it is a 1 and 2 situation. So yeah, I mean, Caps are in great hands. And like I said, even if anything were to happen injury wise or illness wise or anything like that, somebody gets a flu bug or something like that, you can always call up Clay Stevenson from Hershey, because all of these crazy teams, man, nobody decided to pluck him off of waivers. So I have no idea what the fuck that was about, but we are thankful for it. All right, babes, that is going to be it for this episode. Episode 105, by the way, of the Jenaya Talks Caps podcast. Just wanted to thank all of you so much again for listening today, for sticking with me. You know, if you're listening now, it's been 56 minutes-ish, I think. I don't know. Anyways, if you're still here, thank you so much for listening. Even if you tuned out halfway through, thank you so much for listening to the first half. I appreciate all of you guys, you know, no matter, like I said, if you're what am I trying to say? It's been a long night, you guys. Like I said, I did the post-game reaction video, and then now I've got the podcast. So hard at work here for you guys. What I was trying to say is that no matter if you are a long-time subscriber, someone who has been here since the very beginning, of course, I appreciate all of you fine folks so much. Appreciate all of your support so much. You guys are awesome. You mean the world to me, and so grateful to have you all here. Whether you're a long-time subscriber, like those fine folks, or even if you are a brand new subscriber and this is your very first episode, I appreciate all of you just the same. You all are so important to the success of this show, and more importantly, you're also important to the community that we are starting to grow here at Jenaya Talks Caps, at the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page. For those of you listening in the audio only version, by the way, you can find us on YouTube as well if you wanted a video version of the podcast, if you wanted to see my face. If you don't, that's totally fine too. Feel free to continue listening in audio only. We will never take away the audio only version. It is always going to be available for you on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on all of those fine platforms. But yeah, if you wanted a video version for an episode here or there, you can subscribe over on YouTube as well. The YouTube channel is under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps. We have the Facebook page as well, where everything is always posted up. The Facebook page, again, under the same name, Jenaya Talks Caps. So yeah, to everyone, you know, like I said, longtime subscriber, new subscriber, even just lurkers, you know, people who haven't clicked on that subscribe button yet, doesn't matter. I appreciate all of you fine folks, like I said, so much. Every single person who gives one of these episodes a try, gives it a listen, shares it with a fellow Caps fan, clicks like, comments. You know, I love reading your guys' comments. I appreciate all that you guys do so much, and we are really building a fine community here of Caps fans. People, like I said, sharing their ideas, sharing their insights on the team. You know, I find that the Caps fan base as a whole is very, you know, very thoughtful, very insightful, has a lot to say, a lot of good info, a lot of good insight to share. So it's always great when we can all kind of come together, this, you know, little sort of think tank, and just share ideas. share our thoughts and opinions on the team, because that's really what this is all about. It's about building a community, getting together and just talking hockey with like-minded people, right? Like-minded Caps fans. So yeah, love you guys. Appreciate all of you guys so much. It has been an absolute blast yet again. Cannot wait to get back on the mic next week. And yeah, until then, babes, if you don't mind, share us with a fellow Caps fan if you can, with like I said, with a friend, with a family member, with a coworker, whoever it may be. Give us a rating, a review, if you so choose, on your favorite podcast platform. Those go a really, really long way to getting the show out there. Apple for sure, Spotify, these platforms, they really, really like those ratings and reviews. So I appreciate that a lot. If you guys can do that for me, drop a rating, drop a review. If you have something to say that you like about the show or what have you, really appreciate that as well. So yeah, we will be back on next week as always. And as always, babes, as always, let's go Caps.